All right. Really good first half. So-so second half, but got up 32, and it's what I wanted. I wanted a fast start. I didn't want this game to hang in the balance too long, and see if we can get a lot of bodies, see if we can play some different lineups and get some different rotations, and let the young guys play a little bit. And I thought for the most part we were able to accomplish that. Last 10 minutes, I thought we lost a little bit of edge, but that's human nature. That happens. But for us, I thought the ball security was pretty good. 20 assists, 8 turnovers, and 15 threes. And I thought Bothwell obviously had a really good game, but I thought the ball moved. Early in the game it wasn't moving quite as well, and then the ball movement started to pick up. And I thought we did a good job of establishing Noah. They were bringing 2, sometimes 3 people. He did a good job passing out, which is another growth area for him as he starts to experience these doubles, to be able to see the action behind it and to be able to play off the weak side. That's where he's really growing. I thought he did a good job of that tonight. And we had a lot of guys play well. I thought Jordan got into a little bit of a rhythm. I thought he was really efficient tonight. 5 for 8, 2 for 5 from 3, 14 points. I think that's good to see, just the efficiency of the numbers. And, just a night to see if we could, get some guys going and, get out, fly around a little bit, which we were able to do in the 1-3-1 zone. So pleased at halftime. Some things I would love to see differently in the second half, but at the same time, there was also a lot of positives.
Coming off the USC Upstate game, especially your defense tonight in the first half, obviously it's a different kind of opponent, but how pleased were you with the defensive intensity in the first half?
Like I said, I thought it was good. I thought we were really flying around. I thought the 1-3-1 zone helped us do that. I think it was 20-10 when we went to it, and then we really opened up the margin once we were able to, that threw them off a little bit, and it's tough. But listen, defense has many different elements. Okay, you've got ball screen defense, you've got post defense, you've got screen defense, you've got drive defense, you got transition defense, and so what happens is, as you go through a season, there's elements of your defense that are really good, and then there's elements that you struggle with. And then through scouting, these coaches are smart. We watch a lot of film, so if you struggle in a particular element, well, these coaches are just going to keep pushing that button. And for us, it's our drive defense, and we've got to have a little bit more connection in our ability to stop penetration. And there's a fine line there, right? With the way people shoot the ball now, if you fly around and overhelp and you're not disciplining your rotations and your recoveries, you're going to give up wide open threes. If you don't help and flow at all, and you're not, and all of a sudden it's 1-on-1, then they're going to get to the rim, you're going to foul, right? And so that's where the connection talk comes into play, right? We have to make sure that we're not putting people on islands, that our paint is sealed, that we're keeping people off the baseline and out of the paint, and that we have good rotations. And it was a little better tonight. They tried to test us off the bounce, particularly in the second half, but Sunday we really struggled there.
Noah Gurley's done so many things well lately. One of the things that I thought he improved on tonight was taking care of the basketball. I think he had like 5 turnovers at Auburn. Just talk about really the past 2 games, how he's been able to not have as many turnovers and play better and take better care of the basketball.
Yeah, I mean, the fun thing about Noah is it's always fun as a coach when you can see people get better during the season, right? It's very common to see players get better in the off season, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in around here. But to see people improve during the season, it was always fun. And that's I mean, think about earlier in the year when Loyola and a couple people start doubling him, and just how confused he looked. And you know what? There was a text that went out after the Upstate game that Coach Johnson put in our staff chat, and it was Noah Gurley saying, "When can we watch film in the morning?" right after he scored 29 points, right? And that's just how he is. He's obsessed with being his best. And so once he saw, the Gardner-Webb game kind of coming out party, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got a double, he had to figure it out. And so he's done a much better job of being patient on catches. He's done a much better job of reading the weak side and trying to take a peek of the weak side and using the whole floor to his advantage. And a lot of times when you get trapped, you put the ball down quickly, you just watch the strong side. The action is on the weak side, right? The game's won on the weak side, and if they're going to trap, then you've got to be able to attack them on the weak side, and he's just gotten much better there.
Sounds like you feel like overall tonight you accomplished what you wanted to do. The players came out with the intensity and everything. But I guess my question is, what's the challenge in to avoid a little bit of a dip between games and what you got coming for player leadership to help in that situation?
It's a really good question. I think that as coaches, there's fine lines in all this, right? So obviously I wasn't too excited about the performance on Sunday, and I wasn't excited about our defensive intensity. I wasn't excited about our defensive connection. And, we gave them Monday off because they needed the rest, and then we got after it pretty good yesterday. And I asked them to come out and fly around and get after it defensively, and I thought they did that first half, right? And then, like you said, as a coach, would you love to see the sustained effort and just go win the game by 50 points? Absolutely, okay? It's where we got to continue to grow. And the reality of it is that's only going to be as good as those guys on that court. And they've got to know, we've got to understand that around here, what's been our calling card in those big games? It's been our ability to guard. And if we want to get away from that, and if we don't want to embrace that identity, and we don't want to acknowledge that's where it all starts with us, then we're gonna have to pay the price for that. And that's one of those things that it doesn't get you till it gets you, right? Where you're walking in and you're in a locker room and you lose by one possession because you just couldn't generate the stops you needed to generate. And so this team has to make a decision that we're going to have competitive consistency every single night on the defensive end of the floor. And if we do it, we're going to have every goal on the table. We're going to have every single one of them on the table. But it's hard. It's really hard because, you got to practice that way. You got to play that way. You got to hold each other accountable, right? And when you feel like you have a lead, you got to continue to guard. And it's something that as the year goes on, you want to continue to see that develop. I think we're making strides there. We're just not quite where I'd like to see it. I would like our leadership to step up a little bit more there. Alex is our best defender on the ball. He's not the loudest person, right? Noah's defensive intensity's really picked up here lately, and he's the one that's starting to talk a little bit more. We just got to get Jordan, we got to get Clay, and we got to get some of these other older guys to really raise the bar from a player level and say, hey, this is what we're going to do by the possession, right? This is every single possession. This is the standard that we're going to hold on the defensive end of the floor if we want to go compete for a championship. And, we're going to keep pushing it. We're going to keep working on it. We sat in here, yesterday, and we watched a ton of those clips from Sunday. And we know that that's where we got to get to. So we're just going to keep coaching it. You don't want it to be negative. You want to do it in a way where it's positive, and you want to do it where we're inspiring them to go play this way because this is what this is going to get you. But it's hard, but it's fun. It's fun. When you sit down there and you guard people, and you can take somebody's spirit, and you can take their will, and then you go down and you get to run and you get to play free on offense. That's what makes this fun. But you gotta pay the price.
This was the type of game, especially in the first half lead you built. You figure a lot of people are going to play a lot, but you don't have a lot of people to play right now. And I'm sure that also plays a role in this and trying to keep up that defensive intensity. How challenging is that? Obviously, Ben Baker was a walking boot today, and Alice got dinged up there at the end. How big of a challenge is this moving forward?
I don't think it's going to be that much. I think Alex is fine from what I've been told to this point. Could have returned in the game. I decided to just not return him. He could have come back. He thought he sprained it on the goal right there going in for that drive. Ben rolled an ankle yesterday in practice, and so X-rays were negative. He'll be a couple weeks, and we're going to try to continue to redshirt, Marcus and Johnny. And, I guess the term right now in the NBA is load management. So we tried to do a decent job of that tonight. I don't think anybody played more than 25 minutes, and that was Mike Bothwell. So we had 8 guys play 20 or more minutes. And, so that was a big thing tonight, just making sure Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, could we go out there and do our job tonight and not max people's minutes out, especially with finals going on. You got to understand context around here. I think it was, 3 or 4 years ago, man, we won every game at home except the Saturday finals versus Gardner-Webb, right? And so there's a taxation that comes with the academic burden they've got to carry during finals, and so we have to manage that as well. But, yeah, for us to be able to get out of the game tonight and basically our starters play, 20 to 24 minutes, I thought that was a huge positive. And, Colin got to get out there and play a little bit. JP continues to do some things well off the bench. And, so our depth's coming. Our depth's developing. And I think the bench had 40 points tonight, so that's a positive. And we just got to keep working with it.
I'm looking at the Southern Conference stats the other day, and I noticed that several categories, Clay Mounts is up there in a lot of those. Very similar to Matt Rafferty last year when you look at steals and what he's doing scoring-wise and things like that. Just talk about him as he's become a complete player as to fill, the boxes on each stat on the stat sheet.
Yeah, Clay right now, you look at the analytics, he's producing in a lot of different areas. And Clay, as I've talked about many times, this offseason really made an increased commitment into trying to complete his game. And as a coach, there's a fine line right now in terms of, yes, we all see the progress, right? For me, a lot of times I look out and I see, hey, what could he be? I still think there's more, right? Now, I know I can be a little crazy with that sometimes, but he's 6'7". He shoots it as well as anybody. He can put the ball in the deck. He can post, right? He has great ability to cut. He's got great ability to make decisions. I think that he can continue to be a dominant player in this league, and I think there's still strides for him to improve. I don't want that to take away from what he's done, and I don't want him to feel my push in terms of him feeling like, hey, this guy's always going to expect more, right? But he wants it. And so for him right now, offensively, yeah, he's scoring the ball, and he's doing what he's got to do on the glass. Now, we're playing him at the 3, and so that puts him in positions where he's got to guard the bounce and he's got to be able to guard penetration. Once he really decides that, hey, I'm going to be a deflection guy and I'm going to get my length out, I'm going to use my athleticism to really be a guy defensively, you're going to be talking about a player. Okay, he's a player now. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be an all-conference guy, and he's somebody that I think. There's no ceiling on what you can put on where he can go with his game.
Begin your series downtown games this weekend. What's the importance, in your viewpoint, of this game Saturday and the 2 more that'll follow downtown?
I think it just kind of hit me in the locker room a little bit as I was, usually what I'll do after a win is we'll talk about all the good things that happened in this game, and we'll give a little bit of a quick preview on the next game. And, for me, you're sitting down there and you're thinking about it. And, I just told the team, I said, look, it's going to be a heck of a game. We got a great opponent coming in here in Winthrop, and we're getting to go downtown Greenville, and there's a lot of anticipation. And, we don't need to make it any more than what it is. Right, the court's going to be the same dimensions and still going to be 10-foot goals, and we're going to go play Furman basketball, right? But understand, it's showtime. We're going downtown, and there's a lot of people that are going to be talking about this, and there's a lot of people that are going to be looking at us for the first time. We're going to see some people down there that haven't seen us play before. My biggest hope on that game Saturday is, regardless of the hype, that we make it about the substance of how we play and who we are, and that we go down there and we just play Furman basketball, right? That we walk off the court, and when those people walk out of the well, that they say, hey, that is a connected, hard-playing, tough team right there. And if we can do that, then we'll live with the results. But we got to make sure that the hype doesn't turn this into something that all of a sudden we feel like we've got to go out there and do something different. We just got to go be us. And I think it's going to be a great game. I think Furman Winthrop. We didn't play last year, but it's been a pretty competitive series. And, they're really good. They're playing TCU tonight. I don't know what the score is. Wouldn't surprise me if they beat them. They beat St. Mary's earlier in the year. They got a big old boy down there that transferred from Tennessee. And, they got a guard that's 6'6", that passes as well as anybody I've seen on film. So we're going to have our challenges, but, man, what an opportunity. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I think our team's excited about it. And it's just an opportunity for us to get into the city and to hopefully generate some interest from people in Greenville that haven't been able to see us play, that will continue to further our brand and our program in our city.
Seems like walk-ons are always very popular. I don't know if there's been one as popular as Rhett Lister whenever he checks into the game. It's just kind of a cool moment for him.
Yeah, it was neat. I mean, the whole thing was neat. And, you know, I played for Chad, and then now, you know, Rhett's playing for us, and I played at North Greenville. Chad went to school here. You know, there's a lot of commonalities out there tonight, and you know, that wasn't by the book to let him go with the shot clock off. But I thought Chad would be all right with that as long as it was Rhett. So I told Rhett to go get the ball and go see if he could score one, and he did. You know, and I think that those guys don't get a lot of credit. I mean, their job's hard now. Their job's hard. I mean, you talk about a good story. You follow a walk-on around for a week, all right, and write about it. You know, and it's, you know, nobody. There's no glory in it, right? But what those guys have to go through, it's just a different journey. You know, they run the other team's stuff. They don't get a ton of practice reps, right? When they do get practice reps right now, it's defense and it's doing things that necessarily you don't want to do. And then, you know, if a manager's out, they got to jump in, and they got to jump and grab towels, and they got to jump and grab water, and there's all kind of demands that they have to be selfless every single day. And there's really not a lot of return for it, you know. And so to see somebody that can come in here and be team first and be selfless and smile and just be happy to be a part of the team, I want to reward those guys. And, you know, to be able to play him for 4 minutes tonight, he played 4 minutes, Rob played 4 minutes, they both scored. That's for a coach, that's pretty rewarding. All right. Thank you, guys. See you Saturday.